Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. If you're here, I'm guessing you're as eager as we are to get a handle on what's coming down the pipeline in running shoe tech. And let's be honest, who has time to wade through endless articles and reviews? So today, we're taking you straight to the good stuff, focusing on 2025, all the latest and greatest hitting the market.
That's right. We've been digging deep into the details, analyzing reports, reviews, you name it. Plus, the inside track from all the big players. Nike, Adidas, Asics, Brooks, Saucony, New Balance, and of course, Hoka. And we're not just throwing specs at you.
Not at all. We're pulling out the surprises, the really interesting innovations, and the advancements that actually matter for your runs.
The stuff you need to know.
Exactly. So let's jump right in with Nike. Seems like they're streamlining their training categories for 2025, focusing on updates to the Pegasus, Vomero, and Structure lines.
Yeah, it looks like they're really refining their core franchises to meet specific training needs. Take the Pegasus line, for example. It's evolved into 3 distinct options, catering to different aspects of your running.
The Pegasus 41, the classic daily workhorse, is still going strong, which I think a lot of runners will be happy to hear. And it sounds super versatile. Zoom air in the forefoot and heel, good for a range of surfaces, which is a big plus if your routes aren't always pristine pavement.
Yeah, and the Pegasus 41 is all about refinement. They've redesigned the midfoot, introduced an engineered mesh upper for targeted support and breathability, plus the classic waffle outsole for that reliable grip.
It sounds like they've paid attention to the details for everyday comfort, even a plush sock liner and tongue.
I haven't forgotten about those details.
And it's nice to hear it looks good for casual wear, too. Adds to the value, right?
Absolutely.
Weight and drop are pretty standard for a daily trainer. And a potentially short break-in period. Always a good thing.
Always. Now, if you're looking to step things up, there's the Pegasus Plus. This is where they've brought in ZoomX foam, making it lighter, more responsive.
It's kind of like that discontinued Pegasus Turbo feel that people loved, right?
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the Turbo, but this time the ZoomX is a touch firmer than what you'd find in their racing shoes, like the Vaporfly or Alphafly. So they're balancing that bouncy feeling with stability and durability for regular training.
Got it. So still versatile, good for those easier days, but can handle some faster paces too. And lighter than the 41, but no plate in this one.
No plate. That's a key difference. And then there's the new kid on the block, the Pegasus Premium, described as having a wild design.
And that high stack height, 45 millimeters at the heel, plus a triple foam midsole with a full-length air zoom unit sandwiched between ZoomX and ReactX. Seems like they're really experimenting here.
They are pushing the boundaries, which is interesting, but some early feedback suggests it might be a bit heavy and maybe not stable enough for easy days. So there's a question of whether all that tech actually translates to a better running experience for most people.
Yeah, 328 grams is getting up there for a daily trainer. But they've talked about this striking design, so it seems like they're also trying to make a visual statement, something that goes beyond just running.
That's an interesting angle.
Okay, let's shift gears to max cushioning and stability. What about the Vomero 18?
No, the Vomero 18 is all about that plush ride. Highest Vomero stack height yet. 46 millimeters in the heel.
Wow, that's a lot of cushioning.
It is. And it's for those easy and long runs. They've gone with that dual foam setup, responsive ZoomX on top, durable ReactX underneath.
Makes sense. So what else is new?
Well, they've really enhanced the rocker shape, for smoother transitions. And Nike claims a 21% increase in energy return, which is pretty significant if it holds true.
That would be impressive.
Yeah.
So for those who prioritize cushioning, the Vomero 18 could be a real winner, a daily beater for the max cushion crew.
Absolutely.
Let's talk speed now. The Vaporfly 4 and Streakfly 2.
Right, the Vaporfly 4. They're saying it's the latest Vaporfly ever, which is a big deal considering its legacy. Still the ZoomX foam and carbon fiber fly plate, but they've refined the plate's curvature.
For optimized leverage. And a 10% weight reduction compared to the Vaporfly 3. That's pretty significant. It seems like they're trying to find that sweet spot, balancing the stability of the Vaporfly 3 with the softer ride of some of the earlier models.
They're definitely aiming for a broader range of runners with this one. And then there's the Streakfly too, all about those shorter, faster races.
The mile, 5K, 10K.
Exactly. And the big news here is the full-length fly plate, a first for the Streakfly.
Wow, so they're going all in on speed with this one.
They are. That plate plus the ZoomX foam and a low 4mm drop to encourage a forefoot strike, it's all about generating propulsion. And it's super light, only 126 grams.
It's practically disappearing on your feet at that weight. They've also improved the outsole traction, redesigned the lacing system to be more centered, and used a new engineered mesh upper.
So many updates. And they had input from both everyday and elite runners, which is really smart.
Okay, let's move on to Adidas. Their 2025 strategy seems to be a mix of high-performance racing with the Adizero line and enhancing the comfort of their daily trainers, like the Boston and Supernova.
Yeah, it's a good balance. So starting with the Adizero lineup, the Adios Pro 4 is getting a wider release, which is great because lots of people have been wanting to try it. And it seems they've really focused on durability with a new light lock upper and a stronger outsole.
Good to hear. And they're sticking with the carbon fiber energy rods. Those are key to the Adios Pro's signature feel. Plus, a new upper that's described as soft, light, and luxurious. This is like a nice comfort upgrade for a race shoe.
Definitely. And they've kept that continental rubber in the toe for traction, which is important, especially when you're racing. Now, the Adizero Evo SL is an interesting one. It uses the same Light Strike Pro foam from the Adios Pro 3, but at a lower price point.
So you're getting that high-performance foam, but without the carbon fiber plate. Makes it more accessible.
Exactly. And it could be a good competitor to something like the Nike Pegasus. Simple mesh upper, continental rubber outsole, all contributing to a lightweight design. And they've tweaked the Light Strike Pro formula for even more bounce.
So they keep refining things.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, the Adizero Adios 9 seems like a pretty big update. Full-length Light Strike Pro, no Light Strike 2.0.
Yeah, that's a big change. And they've replaced the energy torsion rods with a simpler nylon shank, trying to find that balance between stiffness and flexibility, maximizing energy return.
Interesting. And that new microfit upper with an integrated light TLO-stick band and sling launch heel sounds like it'll be a really secure fit, which is crucial when you're running fast.
Absolutely. And the new Light Traction GCPU outsole compound, plus that continental rubber patch at the toe-off, it's all designed for minimal weight and maximum grip. Perfect for short races and track workouts.
And super light, only 6.2 ounces for the men's version, plus at least 20% recycled content, which is good to see.
Always a plus.
Now, the Boston 13. A classic, reliable workhorse. It seems like they're sticking with that, but with some nice updates. That lightweight Cellar Mesh 4.0 upper sounds good.
Yeah.
With reinforced panels for support.
Yeah, and they've added a more substantial tongue, which can make a big difference for comfort and fit. And then there's the dual density midsole with more Light Strike Pro under the forefoot for responsiveness.
I see. And you can actually see the energy rods in the midsole now. Interesting.
Right, and they've reduced the medial midsole stack height slightly, so it'll be interesting to see how that affects the ride.
And they've reworked the outsole too, with that combination of light Trax Ion, Adidas grip, and continental rubber. Seems like they've thought about traction throughout the entire gait cycle.
Yeah, they have, and they're saying it's for long-run training and marathon effort.
So it's versatile. Okay, what about the Supernova Rise V2?
This one's all about comfort. Redesigned upper, more breathable, with a streamlined heel pillow.
So a more comfortable, secure fit.
Yeah, and 4% lighter. But the big news is the Dream Strike Plus Superfoam midsole.
They're saying it's inspired by Light Strike Pro, but with a new formula for comfort and cushioning.
It sounds incredibly plush. And they've added a support rod system for stability, plus an Adiwear outsole for durability.
Sounds like a solid package. It's even been recognized by Shape Magazine and the APMA.
That's a good sign.
It is. Okay, moving on to Asics. They always seem to focus on those engineered running solutions.
They do. And the Nova Blast 5 is a good example of that. The big story here is the new FF Blast Max midsole foam, described as softer and more energetic than their FF Blast Plus foam.
So it's that balance of cushioning and responsiveness.
Exactly. And surprisingly light for a shoe with that much cushioning. Only 9.5 ounces for men's size 10.5, and they've kept that rocker geometry for a smooth ride. Plus, improved outsole compound.
Though some reports say the grip could still be better.
Right. But overall, a solid daily trainer. Good for a variety of paces and distances.
For sure. Now, the Gel Nimbus 27. Always a popular choice for comfort on long runs.
Yeah, the Nimbus is all about comfort. And the 27 has an increased stack height. They added 2 millimeters of their reworked FF Blast Plus Eco Foam.
So even more cushioning. But it sounds like it's not just about being soft. There's some firmness and snap to it, too.
Exactly. And they've kept the pure GEL in the heel for shock absorption. The upper is redesigned, too. More room in the toe box. And a gusseted tongue for a secure fit.
Sounds good. They've also smoothed out the heel transition, which heel strikers will appreciate. So ideal for easy and long runs, and maybe even some light tempo work. and still a stable ride.
Yeah, despite all that cushioning. And then there's the Gelcayano 31, their stability flagship.
31 versions in, that's impressive.
It is. They've updated the midsole with FF Blast Plus Eco, so it's got that plush cushioning and good energy return.
Yeah.
And a 42mm heel for impact protection.
So still a lot of cushioning there, too.
Oh, yeah. And the big update here is the 4D guidance system. It's designed to adapt to your foot strike, supporting you without forcing your foot into any unnatural movements.
Smart. And they've refined the heel bevel for smoother transitions. Plus, a new upper, more breathable, but still plush and secure.
They've really thought about the details.
They have. Okay, what's Brooks doing?
Well, Brooks is sticking with their reputation for smooth and reliable rides. The Glycerin 22 is all about max cushioning and comfort. They've refined their DNA-tuned foam so it's even more plush.
Higher stack height, too, for even more cushioning.
Yes, and an ultra-breathable upper.
Good to hear.
They've also kept that inherent stability, so it sounds like a solid choice for max cushion fans.
Yeah. And the Ghost 17, a perennial favorite. What's new there?
More cushioning. They added 3mm of DNA LFHT V3 in the forefoot, 1mm in the heel, and they've reduced the drop to 10mm.
Oh, so a bit lower. That might appeal to some runners.
It might. They've also redesigned the midsole, added flex grooves, and given the upper a refresh. It's still double jacquard air mesh, but with a more streamlined look.
So they're keeping it breathable and supportive.
Exactly, and they're continuing to focus on sustainability, more recycled materials, carbon neutral certification.
That's great. And it looks like they're keeping the price the same as the Ghost 16.
Which is smart, keeps it accessible.
For sure. Now, what about their racing shoe, the Hyperion Elite 4?
This one's interesting. It's a racing shoe, but they're saying it's more gentle than most super shoes, comfortable enough for a marathon.
That's a pretty big claim, so what makes it different?
Well, it uses their Speed Vault plus carbon fiber plate, but they fine-tuned it by size. Meaning the stiffness and weight distribution of the plate varies depending on your shoe size.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? And it's got the nitrogen-infused DNA Flash V2 foam in the midsole, so it's cushioned but also responsive.
So a more balanced feel.
Yeah, and it's light, under 8 ounces.
Okay, so still very much a performance shoe, but maybe not as aggressive as some others.
That seems to be the idea.
All right, let's see what Saucony has in store for 2025. They seem to always be pushing the boundaries of innovation and performance.
They do, and this year is no exception, especially in their racing category. They've got the Endorphin Elite 2, which features a brand new midsole foam, Incredi-Run.
Incredi-Run. What's the story with that?
Well, it's a TPE-based foam, and they're saying it feels really unique, soft and squishy on landing, but also snappy and responsive for push-off.
Interesting. And of course, they've included a carbon fiber plate.
Yeah, slotted plate. And they're using their speed roll rocker geometry for that propulsive feel.
Makes sense.
The upper is updated too. Lightweight TPE yarn, a flat knit tongue, and stretchy laces, all designed for a secure fit. And a PW R2 Triac outsole for grip.
So they've really gone all out with the tech.
They have. It's definitely a top-tier race day shoe.
What about the Endorphin Pro 4?
The Pro 4 seems to be aiming for that sweet spot of performance and value. They've returned to some of the design elements of the original Pro, but with new tech.
Sounds intriguing.
They're using a combination of PWRN HG and PWA1 PB in the midsole, which is interesting. They've gone back to a traditional mesh tongue, and it's only slightly heavier than the Elite 2.
So not a huge weight difference.
Nope. It also has an S-shaped carbon plate and their speed roll technology, plus a dual-density midsole, all designed for comfort, stability, and responsiveness.
Sounds like a well-rounded package. And at a competitive price for a super shoe.
Definitely a contender.
Okay, so what about their daily trainers? What's happening with the Triumph 23?
It sounds like the Triumph 23 is getting lighter, but they're maintaining that comfortable underfoot feel. They're expecting it to weigh around 9.2 ounces. Stack height should be similar to the Triumph 22.
So not much change there.
No, but they have reduced the amount of rubber on the outsole, although it's still their XT900 rubber.
So trying to shave off some weight without sacrificing durability.
Exactly. And they've used a 3D mesh upper for comfort, plus a 3D heel counter for support. It looks like they'll stick with the dual-density PWR-Run PB foam.
So a lighter, more versatile Triumph. Sounds good. Now, the Guide 18. Their stability shoe.
It looks like the Guide 18 is getting a new upper, but they're keeping the core technology from the Guide 17.
Which was their center path technology, right? That wide platform, high sidewalls, asymmetrical design for stability.
Exactly. The new upper is meant to be more breathable and accommodating. Plus, they've added a PWR Run PB insole for a bit more responsiveness.
Good year.
And finally, there's the Peregrine 15, one of the top trail shoes out there.
The Peregrine. What's new with that one?
They've updated the midsole with a softer, single-density foam for more comfort. They're keeping the PWR Terry Tray rubber outsole with those 5mm lugs for good traction, except maybe in deep mud.
Makes sense.
They've also included a PWR Run Plus sock liner.
Nice.
And their unique lacing system. So yeah, it sounds like a solid update to an already great trail shoe.
All right, New Balance. They're all about precision and performance. What are they up to in 2025?
Well, their high-performance racing shoe, the SC Elite 5, seems to be getting a new upper, but the midsole and outsole tech from the SC Elite V4 are staying the same.
The SC Elite V4 was a great shoe for elite runners. Thin carbon fiber plate, fuel cell foam really light, and a race-ready fit. So it sounds like the V5 will be even more comfortable and breathable.
Makes sense. They're refining an already successful formula. Now, for daily training, they've got the 880 V15. They're calling it a max stack cruiser, a more affordable option than the 1080 V14.
Okay, so a max cushion shoe for everyday miles.
Right. And it's gotten a pretty big update. Higher stack height, more traditional ride. It's using fresh foam X in the heel and fuel cell in the forefoot.
Interesting combination.
It is. Plus, a breathable upper and a durable endurance rubber outsole. So it's built for comfort and durability.
Sounds like a solid daily trainer.
And for the ultimate in plush cushioning, there's the 1080 V14.
The 1080. The king of comfort.
It is. They haven't messed with the formula too much. Tall stack height, soft fresh foam X, surprisingly flexible, and a really comfortable upper.
Perfect for recovery runs and easy days.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, Hoka. They're always innovating, always pushing the boundaries of cushioning.
Yeah, they're definitely the maximalist leaders. And they're not slowing down in 2025. Their Bondi 9, their most cushioned shoe, has a higher midsole stack and uses supercritical EVA foam, the same foam they use in the Mach 6 and Skyflow.
Wow, so even more cushioning from Hoka.
It seems so, but they're also trying to improve the responsiveness, so it's not just about being soft, it's about that balance.
Interesting. So still great for walking and recovery, but maybe a bit more versatile.
That seems to be the goal.
Yeah.
And then there's the Clifton 10 and Mach 6, both offering balanced cushioning for a variety of runs.
The Clifton, that's a classic. What have they done with the 10?
They've used a CMEV midsole for lightweight cushioning and responsiveness. Kept the meta rocker geometry, of course.
Okay.
And a jacquard knit upper.
So sort of refining the details.
Exactly. And they've increased the drop to 8mm, so aiming for a more balanced and comfortable ride. And the Mach 6, that's their lightweight daily trainer, still using that supercritical EVA foam for cushioning and responsiveness.
So a good all-around shoe.
Yeah, very versatile. And then there's the Speedgoat 6, their go-to trail shoe.
The Speedgoat, always a solid choice for the trails.
It is. They've made the midsole a bit softer for more comfort, but they're keeping the PWRT RTAC outsole with those 5mm lugs.
So good traction on most surfaces.
Yeah, and it sounds like it feels pretty similar to the Speedgoat 5, so more of a refinement than a major overhaul.
Makes sense.
And last but not least, their super shoe, the Cielo X1 2.0.
The Cielo X1 2.0.
Yeah.
That's their fastest shoe, right?
It is. It's designed for marathon racing. They're using 2 layers of PEBA superfoam with a carbon fiber plate sandwiched in between.
So a really high-tech setup.
Oh, yeah. They've also got a more aggressive meta rocker, a cutout in the midsole for better midfoot coverage, and a premium sock liner. The upper is engineered jacquard mesh.
Sounds like they really thought about every detail.
They have. It's lighter than the previous version, and the heel stack is still within World Athletics regulations. So yeah, this is a shoe built for pure speed.
Wow. That's an incredible amount of innovation coming our way in 2025. So much to look forward to.
It's a great time to be a runner. When you look at all these shoes, there are some clear trends emerging. We're seeing these advancements in midsole materials, carbon fiber plates in more and more shoes, a focus on balanced cushioning, and more engineered uppers for a better fit. Plus, a lot of brands are really starting to prioritize sustainability.
Absolutely. So if you're wondering where to start with all these options, here's a quick rundown. For versatile daily trainers, you might want to check out the Nike Pegasus 41 or Plus, the Adidas Supernova Rise V2, the Asics Nova Blast 5, the Brooks Ghost 17, or the Saucony Triumph 23.
All great options. If you're looking for max cushioning, then the Nike Vomero 18, the New Balance 1080 V14, and the Hoka Bondi 9 are worth a look. For stability, the Asics Gel Kayano 31 and the Saucony Guide 18 are solid choices.
And for race day, there's a ton of great options. The Nike Vaporfly 4 and Streakfly 2, the Adidas Adios Pro 4, and Eda Zero Evo SL, the Brooks Hyperion Elite 4, the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 and Pro 4, and the Hoka Cielo X1 2.0. Plus, for the trails, the Saucony Peregrine 15 and the Hoka Speedgoat 6 are still strong contenders.
It's amazing to see all the options out there. There really is something for everyone.
Exactly. So as you're thinking about your next pair of shoes, consider your individual needs and preferences. What matters most to you? Cushioning, stability, responsiveness, durability, or maybe even style.
Yeah, it's all about finding the right shoe for you.
Absolutely. With so much innovation on the horizon, it makes you wonder, what are you most excited to try? What shoe or technology do you think could really make a difference in your running?
It's a good question to think about.
It is. Well, that's it for our deep dive into the world of 2025 running shoe technology. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
We tried to give you all the essential information without overwhelming you.
So go out there, do some research, and find the shoes that will help you achieve your running goals.
And remember, this is just a snapshot. The world of running shoe tech is constantly evolving, so stay curious and keep exploring.
That's right. Until next time, happy running, everyone.